I know that we had several people. I know that we had several people at the original meeting. The people that weren't here, where you shared the information about the project itself, the different needs it's going to fulfill within the community. I just want to make sure, so I didn't speak more to that than I need to.
I don't know what the details do. Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If not, basically that's it. You know, as far as the project, as I mentioned at the last sit down, the goal of the Community Foundation would be to not have to go after and compete against other nonprofits for some of the funds and projects they're going to be doing. And so we did have an initial conversation with the county last week at the county council meeting. That was one of the requests that you guys asked, that we give some feedback. So far, it's been very positive feedback regarding their involvement. They won't actually have any ordinances or anything read until the August meeting, but they do plan on having it on the agenda to discuss at that point. So, you know, with, as far as the project's funding is concerned, if the city is able to support this in the same manner, then we believe the additional shortfall to have the project completed will be handled through the Community Foundation themselves,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Correct.
And I guess, just to be clear, if you looked at the spreadsheet down there, the request from the Community Foundation was for $500,000, half of which we would give to them this year, and then half right after the first of the year. And I'll speak a little bit to that. I didn't print it out, but I can give you the balance in our seeded fund currently. We have $1,244,000 in our seeded fund. We also have another $1,000 of our seeded money that's invested right now in a CD. So I believe that it's been a while since we had a large request of any kind for seeded other than the clubhouse project, which was our own, and probably since Memorial Hospital, quite honestly, and the Y, we contributed to both of those in the past. But, you know, looking at our budget, our revenue for the year, we've pretty much spent our budgeted items. It's minimal what's left this year, so we'll probably have, before the end of the year, another $500,000 or $600,000 in our seeded fund. So, you know, we have two choices here. We can split it up, or if council feels like we have enough funds, we can give it to them all up front. But those are the two options that we're looking at.
$500,000 total?
Yes.
This is a shortfall?
The shortfall is, of the overall projects, 1.4, according to that, 1.429.
How much is it again?
1.429.
1.4.
500 from the city, 500 from the county, and the remainder from the Community Foundation.
Why is there a shortfall?
The project itself, when submitted for grant, only allowed, was a $5 million grant, which we were awarded the full amount. However, about $1 million of that had to go to operating expenses. So we couldn't put the whole $5 million toward this project.
So what was the amount of the grant after that million?
The grant was $5 million, but within the grant, 4.2 million were for construction and equipment.
Okay.
The rest of that was intended for operations to get it up and running, and to the point where it should be sustainable within 3 years. And then there was some money in there for maintenance endowment to take care of it going forward in the future. And we knew when we sent that budget in that while it was close, it wasn't going to be, we were going to have to do some fundraising to get what we wanted to put up there.
Anyone have any questions for these guys?
This is just an open space building, right, with just a kitchen, right?
Might want to explain to them what the kitchen's all about. I'm not sure everyone's aware of.
And I don't think everybody saw, how you gave us like the pictures of
That's
every.
where I was at, yeah.
I don't believe everybody did see that now.
Yeah, this is a lot more than just an open pavilion farmer's market.
I don't
So
think I have mine.
the open pavilion farmer's market, which, I didn't bring those because, sorry, I thought you guys had them already. But the open pavilion farmer's market is a very small piece of that. That's really just going to occupy the structure on Saturday mornings. The pavilion will do much more than that for the community and the community's needs, as well as some of the city's festivals and celebrations that occur. But the kitchen itself is It's not just a kitchen to be used for the farmer's market. It's actually called an incubator kitchen. And so the idea behind it is it drives new entrepreneurialism, entrepreneurialism in our community and in our region. There's nothing like this. The closest thing of an incubator kitchen is Indianapolis. So the idea is that as a new food entrepreneur wants to start his own business, this is a place that they could launch it out of. And Deanna, if you kind of
Right.
explain.
So the incubator kitchen part has multiple workstations. We've hired a gentleman from the kitchen in Grand Rapids. He's excited about the project enough to move to Logansport to do it. But what happens is if you want to make and sell salsa, you have to do it in a serve-safe kitchen, in a commercial kitchen, legally with the health department and everything. And so the barrier for most people starting that business is the cost to get up and running. In this kitchen experience, you would fill out an application, you would be trained, serve safe. Ryan Bullhouse, the executive director we've hired, will walk you through this whole process from the idea of what you're trying to create to take it into market. He has great experience. He's been in Grand Rapids 6 years. He has 56 or 57 businesses that are actually working out of that kitchen now. The kitchen's open 24/7, so people sign up to rent the mixing space, the baking space, whatever space they need, and pay for that, and his services come to them free of charge so that he can help build them and get them out the door. Their kitchen up there was directly responsible for over 500 jobs in the last 5 or 6 years since he's been there. So that's part of it. The other side is that there's a learning kitchen or a demo kitchen on the north side that has a chef's island suite where if Purdue wants to come in, Purdue Extension, and teach people how to can or how to work with specific produce, they have classroom space. If the Career Center wants to bring their students down and learn, they have this other space that I think it would seat 48 people. It could be rented out for private events, it could be rented out for parties, it could be rented out for training, and the same with the pavilion. We anticipate the pavilion will be rented out for other things than the farmer's market. The farmer's market's there Wednesday afternoon and Saturday morning, 4 or 5 months out of the year. So you've got all this other time where you can have Taste of Cass County, Oktoberfest, the Light of Logansport Parade, all those things that would take place in that pavilion.
How big is the kitchen going to be?
4,600 square foot?
4,600 square foot.
4,600?
4,600 square foot. Grand Rapids, she mentioned, has, how many businesses did you say they run out of there?
56 or 57.
And ours is not much smaller than theirs. We can run at the same time 6 different food entrepreneurs in the building at the same time, but that's if they need the building at the same time. So a lot of them do off shifts and so forth because they're working a regular day job as they launch their new business.
And the other thing that
Or you
makes
can
this
go-
very unique is that if you're a Tyson employee, for example, and you want to make and sell tamales at the farmer's market, you have to make them in a serve-safe kitchen. So you could work at Tyson, you could come down here at 9 o'clock at night, make your tamales, store them in the kitchen,
Package
get
them.
up, package them, get up Saturday morning and sell them in the farmer's market. So there's already a market there for what you're producing. And that's somebody that might not want to go into a full-fledged food business. It's somebody that's doing it as a side thing.
So you'll see a large cost on this. There's over $800,000 in kitchen equipment alone. I mean, you think about the barriers to entry for food entrepreneurship. If somebody's wanting to start a business, now obviously they're probably not going to build an $800,000 worth of kitchen equipment, but this meets so many different needs. And one of the things with Ryan and his experiences, it's not just an American cuisine. There's stuff in here, so all the different ethnicities we have in our community, they can do practically anything out of this kitchen space.
One of the things that appealed to Lilly Endowment that led to us receiving the $5 million grant was that it was creating a space for people to gather together and to unite people around food. So it was something that touched all their touchstones: education, community development, healthy eating, fresh food, the food desert that we're in. It touched everything around that. And that was one of their main reasons for funding our project.
Questions for these guys? Any thoughts on the funding?
How many people do you think are going to rent spaces right now? to
We're
cook?
hopeful, Ryan has already started working with us, and I think his goal is to have 10 people ready to start by the time we open.
How many?
10 by the time we open.
10? Who's working on this, you said?
The executive director that we hired from Grand Rapids.
Okay.
He was an executive chef. He worked and has opened several restaurants around, has worked in restaurants around the world, and came back. He was from Michigan. He came back and was in this position. We met him when we did site visits to go see what we wanted to build. And he helped us with the build out, and the longer we talked, the more excited he was about Logansport. He actually came and spent a weekend here in March and just said, I have to come and do this. He was so excited about this and all the other things that are going on.
This 4,600 square foot kitchen, where exactly is that going to go?
So, I should have brought my laptop in if I'd have known this, but I've got a picture of it. It's directly south of the monument statue there.
Butts up against
The
the
immigration
alley that
statue.
runs
Yeah, runs.
north and south through there.
Next,
On the immigration monument?
yes,
South of that?
south of that. Immigration monument stays.
Kitchen between the immigrant statue and the kitchen
600 square
itself.
feet.
And then the open pavilion, we
Where?
It's
West of that.
basically
Where the
covering the
farmer's market
entire
was,
asphalt
yeah.
lot. It
Okay.
covers the entire asphalt lot.
Do you have room for a 4,600 square foot kitchen there, behind that monument?
Barely. Barely. That grass area basically is consumed with building.
Warehouse is 4,300 square feet, so I'm matching the size. So I know how much my
Yeah, and
house
it's,
is.
we had approval from the BZA a couple months ago, but it's going to be two-story height, 22 feet tall.
Right by there, Scott, there's a
Yeah.
picture of it out in front, and I mean, you can see all the footers and stuff now. You can see where the kitchen's going in, the foundation's already in, I believe, isn't it, Matt? And the piers, I believe, are in for the canopies and stuff. So you go down there and get a pretty good visual from the picture and the lots as to how it's gonna be laid out. It's gonna be a huge addition to our downtown.
Yeah,
Appreciate the explanation, because I was looking through this and I was just like, some of these prices, I was like, there's no way, because I just thought this was an open building, you know, people come in and then just like your standard church kitchen, you know?
No.
Because, yeah, I was like, there's no way you're spending that on that kind of stuff, but
Well, and
I had no background as to what was going on.
has an open canopy design that Matt, once we had the architect drawing up plans, and once we found out we had funding, we found that for what we wanted, there's only one or two companies in the United States that could build it. And the company's out of North Carolina, correct?
yes.
That is doing this giant canopy that will be lit from the bottom and the top, so that if you're having an event down there, you can change the color, you could change the atmosphere, but if you're coming across the 3rd Street Bridge, that's the first thing you're gonna see, is this canopy, and you're gonna go, oh, there's the pavilion, there's the farmer's market, there's the kitchen.
Here is the kitchen layout. It's hard to zoom in on there. Where we talk about the demo kitchen and then the incubator kitchen space there. All of their individual storage areas for any of the food entrepreneurs are in there. Commercial freezer and refrigerator. 2 offices for the person that runs the farmer's market and the executive chef. Some laundering service type stuff in here as well as utilities. A stamped concrete patio out front. Then you can kind of see the image here, and I know you're asking this. Here's the image of what the commercial kitchen, so you can kind of see the statue right there. Zoom back out. So it's, the concrete goes pretty much close up to the back of that statue. The statue will be the forefront of it. And the pavilion that lights up that Deanna's talking about is that. There's not a structure like that in Indiana.
This is where that modern technology comes in handy,
Yeah.
Deanna.
I almost brought the drawings, and I thought, well, we'd already given them, so.
Probably, Rob's probably got them.
should be.
Our building commissioner's probably got them, yeah.
What?
So all that stuff, slowly adds up as you add all that much. I mean, that whole thing's stone or block with brick and limestone because we wanted to match the, what's that called? The signal
Railroad,
bridge.
the signal bridge. Mhm.
So all the brick's gonna match a signal bridge, all the steel's gonna match a signal bridge, all the limestone in that area's gonna match.
Thank you for that.
Big red letters. I can share this via email to everybody, but I'm sorry, I wasn't aware you didn't have it or else I would've. sent it in.
Well, I appreciate the chance to explain about the kitchen. We do have partners involved in that, the school corporations, Purdue Extension, Community Corrections, they're doing some things. So there's a wide range of people that are involved in planning to work on the various aspects. The other thing that we didn't talk about here was the community gardens, that we have plans in here to start some community gardens for our newest residents, to give them space and training from Purdue about how to grow fruits and vegetables. So that was another thing that Lilly Endowment was really interested in, was healthy food and the opportunity.
Who's gonna be responsible for the, like, upkeep and maintenance of this building?
We own it, we own the space. We have, as part of that money from Lilly Endowment, a fund set aside to maintain it. The executive director is our employee, and as he hires people, they will become our employees.
It might create a job or two.
Mike, yeah,
It might create a
for
job
sure
or
it
two.
will, yeah. Just for keeping it up, somebody to clean, somebody to be his assistant eventually. He'll need somebody else in the kitchen space.
I think the majority of the jobs that'll be created in the food, is the food entrepreneurs that it's gonna create, the opportunity for these new businesses to launch out of an incubator space. Because as mentioned, I really see this as a regional thing. I mean, Lafayette doesn't have anything like this, Kokomo doesn't have anything like this. So as those new food entrepreneurs wanna start a business, there's nothing there. So it's either going to Indianapolis and competing for that space in Indianapolis. There's nothing even in South Bend. So I mean, the whole northern half of the state, this creates a space for them to launch a business out of without having to spend this exorbitant amount of starter, funds to start.
And to get a real feel for what you guys were wanting to do, you had to go out of state.
Yeah. I mean,
Michigan.
Two examples were both in Michigan, Holland and Grand Rapids.
What's the estimated date of completion? Do you know? Can you guess?
Pavilion is delivering mid-August, so you'll start to see that go up around mid-August. It's supposed to be, we should be complete at that by the end of October. The kitchen itself will be January of 2026.
January of what?
2026.
Okay.
It's coming.
Well, I've made a recommendation. We can consider funding it all at one time or in two payments, one this year and one first of '26. Is the council willing to move this forward?
Seat it?
Yes. Uh-huh. You have a preference over which way you'd prefer to make the contributions?
I'm not gonna vote yes for seed it. I don't want to see the funds come out of there.
Suggest, Scott.
General fund, how much money we got there?
To get it out of the general fund, we'd have to do an additional appropriation. We'd have to have public hearings. This is just a much simpler, cleaner way to do it.
We've already got, what, 200,000 a year for the next 5 years coming out for the golf clubhouse, is that correct?
We got 3 years left.
3 left?
3 left.
Okay, what else we got coming? What about those sidewalks? At the schools?
Those don't come out of CEDA. The last payment on those is coming out of the general fund next year.
Okay. I'd say go for additional appropriation, put it out of the general fund. I think we should save some money and seed it.
Always wanted economic development. Scott out of seat it, this is economic development. I'm not quite sure why you want to do it some other way, but I'm going to recommend that we use the seeded fund. What's the rest of you think?
That's what CEDAT's, that's what CEDAT's for, correct?
Yes.
For businesses, isn't it, to help existing businesses and to draw in
What
new
they're
business?
talking about here, Scott, businesses? Okay.
It's estimated, though. They hope
As
to
is-
have 10
as is
people here by the
everybody's.
time it's finished, hope.
Well, that's my recommendation. Unless the rest of you would want to see it come out of general fund, I'm recommending seed it.
I feel like that's what seat it's for, so.
What's your thoughts on this?
See it?
We've got a little over 2 million right now, and even if we gave them all the money this year, we'd probably end the year with $2 million. $1 million of that's invested, but we have over $1 million currently in there, and we get $144,000 a month. So there's a lot of benefits doing this way. It's, as we'll talk about here in a minute with the revolving fund, these are also funds where we can turn around and use that to our benefit down the road because we're using seeded fund within a TIF district. Matt kind of understands this, having previously been on RDC. We would be able to say that we spent this money within a TIF, and if they needed to move money into the revolving fund, they could then use that money for the different programs that have been set up in RDC. So it's kind of a win-win two ways. BJ, what's your thoughts?
I've been down there, watching them, and I've seen everything that's been going on and watching the foundation go up and everything. And I really want to see the pavilion be built and the kitchen itself working and having people come in there and do this. I think it's great, and you said we get 140,000 every month.
And most of our expense commitments are pretty well done for the year.
So, I'll just, I say we do it. It's, we went downtown to splurge and do different things, bring people here.
Yep, I'm all for it, and I think we should use CEDAT. I'm indifferent on if we do the full payment or the two different ones. I mean, we had originally talked about the two different ones at the first meeting.
Hey
What-
Dave, can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
That we just go ahead and just pay it all at once and not divvy it up, just get it done.
Either way, it comes out the same in the end. We can do it either way, but I'll do whatever the majority of you would like to see done.
Preference?
I'll tell you what, I'll move this, how about, we've got enough to move it forward for a vote at the August meeting. I can put both ways in there, give you some time to think about which way you'd like to give it to them, either in two payments or all at one time. Would you prefer to do that rather than make that decision on the amount all up front?
Or me? I'm good either way.
I think whatever makes the most sense for our account, is the way that we should go that way, either the lump sum or the two.
All right. Well, it sounds like the consensus will move this to the August 4th meeting. We may just pay it all up front.
Makes no difference to us.
But the vote, yeah, but the vote,
It's the easiest.
yeah, we'll vote on it August 4th, but we're moving it there for the vote.
I appreciate the full support. I know, Scott, yours was more about what fund it is out of, but I really do appreciate the full support of the
Yep.
council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Okay, item 2 on the agenda here, let me get my schedule out. I believe is a revolving fund. Dwayne, you want to come up in case I have trouble explaining this to him?
Carolyn, you can help answer.
Okay. But before most of you were on the council, Scott was on the council at that time, in 2023, we created what they called a revolving fund. And what it is, it's an avenue, it really is just a money shuffle, but it satisfies the state of Indiana for the State Board of Accounts. And it allows the Redevelopment Commission to set up parameters for projects in the TIF districts that fall outside of the normal parameters for the RDC. It gives them another avenue to assist, like they'll be able to assist the Elks Building that's being renovated right now. They'll be able to help with the buildings on Market Street in a much better way than they can do just by using the
Yeah, we had-
Redevelopment Commission.
Originally, the RDC was working on trying to develop buildings, and about 22, I think, 2022, they came in, State Board of Accounts came in and said, hey, you can't be directly involved with how you're distributing the money. So we, through council, found out that we could, through legal counsel, we found out that we could establish, you guys could establish a revolving loan fund and allow the RDC then to approve the programs. And we have 3 programs that run through that fund. One is the Key Building Program, which is trying to renovate buildings that are in need of repair downtown. The Exterior Facade Program, where we can help buildings with their exterior to make them look better. The gallery's going through that right now, as an example. And then the Sidewalk Program. So we can provide funding for additional sidewalks or concrete work for buildings that need it downtown. So that was the purpose of this, to get it started. The council funded it, I believe, for $305,000.
205.
Initially, and
Yeah.
that money sat for about 2 years with very little of it being used. I think we had maybe 3 claims by a couple businesses that we did some minor investment in, and I think the whole total was probably less than 50,000, 60,000, somewhere around in there. But in the last couple months, we've had people come forward now with 2 key building programs, 3 key building programs, actually. And we
What are the 3, Dwayne?
Pardon me?
What's the 3 different ones we got going right now?
The ones we have are there's 2 on Market Street, which is, what is that?
In the
320.
2 and 300 there,
Yeah, down by the Pulse
yeah.
building, those 2 buildings there, and they're trying, hopefully, to get the rest of those buildings, to redo that entire block, I believe. And then the Elks Building down here is another one that's being redone, and if you notice, it's been gutted and the windows are out, and we're in the middle of that process. And I think there's a couple others that Bill Cuppy is working with, trying to get more started. So that fund that we sat on for a couple years is now being drawn on very heavily, and in fact, we're basically overdrawn on it right now. So what we'd like to do is have you guys refund that program for us, maintaining with the ordinance that we would still be able to run the programs to it. And then we in turn would reimburse the CEDAT fund for that amount of money, whatever it is that you guys determine to be the amount you want to give. I think originally we started at 305, but we're way past that now, so we need, we're going to need more than that. But we would, so it's basically for city council or for the city, it's a wash. We give you back that money. It's just a matter of transferring funds is what we're doing.
And that's kind of what I was trying to explain with the farmer's market request. We can pay them through the CEDAT, and then if they have another building downtown, let's say after today's request, they need more funding, we can request, then we can use that project as a $500,000 commitment. And what we have to do then, we would take $500,000 out of our CEDAT, put it into the revolving, and then RDC would give us $500,000 back. And that makes everything okay with this, yeah.
It's one of those things where you
It took
have to
Bose
expend the money.
McKinney to do this.
Right, you have to expend the money before we can reimburse it, is kind of what it amounts to. You guys have actually invested money.
So it benefits us to utilize some of our CEDAT funding in TIF districts such as downtown. And that's the benefit of that over the general fund money.
Right.
So what he's come here today to request, or the RDC is requesting, is, and I tried to explain it, I sent this to Bill and said, is this make sense? And hopefully you guys read through this, how it works. We cite the donations that we've made to the clubhouse and the funding that we gave to the Batman Museum. What we will do then is we will take the money we spent there, take that same amount, put it in the revolving fund, $445,000, and then the RDC will send us $445,000 to put back in the seeded fund.
So you will not essentially be out any money whatsoever, it's a wash. It's a matter of just getting us funding for RDC so that we can continue to work on the programs that we're doing right now.
In the buildings on Market Street. Do you guys have any questions about that? Does it make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me, but I know how it works, so.
Where's your money come from?
I read through it all and was like, huh?
Yeah.
Where do you get the money from, Dwayne? I mean, where's the?
Where does the RDC get their money from?
Yeah, there's your.
They get it from the TIF districts, so we have a number of TIF districts that consolidated the downtown, the industrial park. We have the residential TIF district, which is Lexington Village. We have the mall or the junction, and we have the Solly Hotel out there as all individual TIF districts. We collect taxes off of those, and those taxes come to RDC for our funding. And then we try to expend those taxes within each of those districts to reinvest, to try to get more development. So the downtown area, a lot of what you've seen in the downtown has been taken from the downtown TIF district, and it's regenerated. So examples would be like we're putting together, putting in the patio or helping with the patio down at the Socials House. We did the egress for Black Dog. We did the ingress for Bonus Pints. So businesses that are starting or businesses that even are established, we're trying to grow those businesses even more so. And with what Matt was up here talking about with the farmers market, we've invested in that, also trying to help them along to get that established, because we see that as a real potential economic growth for the city. You know, if you've got an incubator kitchen that can grow other businesses, it feeds right into what we're looking for.
Okay.
Any thoughts on the revolving fund request? Cam, what do you think of that?
As long as someone does.
Yeah. It's, took me a long time to figure out how it works, but is everyone okay with moving this request to council on the 4th? Okay. All right. Thank you, Dwayne, for that explanation. All right.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It keeps things develop downtown the way they are.
Yeah. All right, the third one isn't quite as complicated, the GO bond request. We found out we had a finance, or our preliminary meeting with the state Board of Accounts rep for this area to start the budget process, and we found out that we needed to set up an additional account for our GO bond money. And I think it's pretty straightforward. We have to separate the money we spend from the actual bond itself and the repayment process for the debt. So basically, we're renaming the original GO bond fund to be the GO construction bond fund, and whatever money we haven't spent would stay in that account, which is the account we've got set up, and then we'd create a new GO bond fund for just the debt payments on the GO bond. So that's in order to be in proper standing with the State Board of Accounts. Any concerns or questions about that? Okay. Well, we okay with moving that to council? All right. Baker Tilly contract. I know there's I'll just kind of run a couple things past at one time here. We're getting ready for the budget season. There's still a lot of uncertainties about how much funding we're going to get for the general fund and whatnot with the property tax changes. The state's working on it. Baker Tilly's working on trying to figure it out also. So we're not alone in not really knowing what the amount of money is we're going to get yet. But we had a meeting where I had Jacob came, I set up a meeting with Baker Tilly. We had Jacob, Haley, Susie, basically the three finance members. We invited the county. They had 3 council representatives from the county that came. We invited the school board, and they came. Mrs. Starkey came, and Greg Correct, their CFO, was here. And then I think Mike McCord was here for the school board, and Bill Cuppy. And what we got out of that is that the way that we have to transition, there has to be some understanding between the city, the county, and the schools so that we aren't trying to do things that adversely affect the other entities. So they're putting a proposal together. We have $20,000 budgeted for financial consulting. I think I sent you the contract. It's a joint contract with the county. The county and I discussed it, and we felt it might be easier if the two of us just funded it. So the request would be up to around $20,000 to $25,000 for each entity. And what Baker Tilly is proposing to do is kind of they're setting up a program for other cities as well, where they can project what our funding might be going out 2, 3, 4 years, not just for this year. So it would be a multi-year thing, and it would be laid out to where the county and the city and the schools would all be working together for the benefit of everyone. We do know just their rough guesstimate is right now that our general fund will take they predict about a $300,000 hit this year in 26. That number would grow to $600,000 in 27 and to about $1.8 million in 2028. That's when the real big hit comes. So you can see we're going to have to do some real, we're going to have a plan moving forward, basically. It's going to be tough to try and finagle everything around. When you know the price of everything just goes up. So I'd like to, get the blessing of the council. We don't need to write any resolution for this. We have money budgeted, but I didn't want to run it through the Board of Works without the approval of the rest of the council to do it.
We need to know.
Plan for them to help us budget, or?
Help show us what our budgeting needs to look like or will look like for the next few years revenue-wise, and how we need to start planning now, not just for 2026, but for beyond.
He said, multiple times that we need to plan through 2031.
Yeah. So we've got to really take a look at how we're doing things and
Show us how to be frugal.
yeah. Everybody okay with moving that forward? Okay, thank you. What do we got next? Chad, you're up, buddy. You want to just kind of quickly explain to them what you're asking for here?
Yeah, just to move the money from our auction sale to general repair. We've had some unexpected expenses, I guess you would say. The tractor we used to mow the compost field and most of some other places, we had to put about $5,000 in recently. And we also had the bucket on one of our loaders needed repairs recently.
Yeah. They made $17,000, and basically all this does is their MVH money, they're the only ones that can spend it. All this does is move it out of the general MVH fund and into their line item funds. So if they would need those funds later in the year, they'd have funds available and wouldn't have to come back and ask again. And typically in the past, we have allowed the departments to come and utilize their auction funds if they needed, which is basically what we did for the fire department with the EMT classes. Everyone all right with that?
Are you going to include all the departments or just the street?
Well, actually, there were 3, Jen, and I blew you off because you were only going to get $48, so I thought,
The golf course meet.
that's next on my list. Yeah, yeah. So everybody's okay with moving 10,000 into that line item for Chad? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chad. All right, Jan, you can come up and make your plea for, I am kind of intrigued because I'm trying to figure out how their credit card fees are working now.
Not very well. I mean, they're really high. In fact, I'm thinking we're going to have to do that for the parks as well, because we've already been through $5,000 in credit card fees this year.
Well, but I'm trying to figure out that's what we're paying the credit card company, and still we're collecting money for the.
It's still not helping that. I mean.
How much have we collected
Yeah.
through credit card fees? Do they know
I
that?
don't know how much I mean, I know that we've been charged almost $5,000 already and I think we have, like 6,000 or 7,000. I can't.
I figured this was going to be a big month for credit card fees.
Yes.
With what they did last weekend.
I'm sure it was. And coming up when everybody uses it to pay their season tickets and stuff like that, it's gonna really take a hit this year. So that's what Dean has asked, if we could just have it all from the auction to put in there into the credit card fees to help cover those this next few months. So
Basically the same thing. It's in their non-reverting golf. No one else can use it but them.
What'd you sell for $48?
huh?
What'd you sell for $48?
48. I was 48. And I don't know why.
What was it?
We had a big a truck cover that was worth $400, and somebody got a really good deal on it.
Okay.
Probably out on the internet selling it.
Oh, don't be buying any truck covers.
No, and just a couple of heaters. We didn't have a lot this year, so
Okay.
anyway.
Everybody good with moving that over then? All right, thank you. Perfect, thank you, Jan. And the last item I have is Board of Works put a request in just to transfer some money. They had, their registration, title, and plates line item ran out of money. They've got a few more to process, so she needs to transfer $85 into that fund out of translation services. And because they're not in the same category, it has to be approved by council.
Fine.
Have we ever decided what we're going to do with translation services, or we just decided to wait?
This is a separate line item, actually. This is for, like, say they have a person that needs a translator here in the office. They have people they contract with that can come in and help them. Or they go out to the scene of maybe an accident or something. They can call a translator. They have several people on staff that can go out and translate. But no, we haven't figured that out either. So, everybody okay with that transfer? All right. And the last thing, I just wanted to give you some dates ahead of time so you'd have them. We're going to get the budget out to the budget forms out to the different departments this week. We'll probably have budget hearings starting sometime after the council meeting in August. We'll have them sit down privately with the finance committee, and then we'll have a public one where they come before the council to get approval for their line items and whatnot. But the key dates to remember are the public hearing and the first reading of the budget will be on October the 6th. And the second reading will be a special council meeting on October the 20th for the second reading and the passing of the 2026 budget. And that gets us in the timeline to have everything complete is November 1st. So that's just kind of a heads up on where the budgets are going. And it's 6:20. I will call the Finance Committee meeting to a close.
All right, at 6:20, I'll start the rules. I don't even have to ask you to come up, do I? Hopefully everybody got what Lauren had sent us and read through it. I got mine. Yeah.
Yep, I got one here.
Of course, this is in regards to the time clock ordinance that we're working on, so.
Does anyone have any questions? Since I emailed it on Friday.
Just give us some background in case some of these guys aren't sure on what this is all about.
Basically, since the time clocks are now up and running, it's basically how do we enforce people clocking in and clocking out? And we have hourly workers, which that's kind of self-explanatory, but when it comes to salaried workers, it's all about being, whether you're exempt, whether you're managerial, or if you're not. So people that would be exempt would be department heads, council members, elected officials, board members, because we have to come to you guys to ask for permission to do anything, right? So that's where we're at. So we have salaried, which is non-exempt, and we have hourly that is non-exempt as well. So like I said I think in the salaried part in the disclaimer, the only ones that wouldn't be clocking in or out would be elected officials, department heads, board members. So everyone else would be clocking in, everyone else and clocking out.
So are you getting pushback from any employees
Oh, yeah.
as far as,
They feel like since they're salaried, that they don't have to clock in and don't have to clock out.
so these are salaried employees then?
Yes, and it's not about clocking in to get paid, it's about attendance, because State Board of Accounts will pull records, and they'll be like, I want to see John Smith's
Right.
timesheet. And John Smith could be salaried, but they want to see a timesheet.
I had one question on that.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the salaried, down there under no impact on compensation, I'm not quite sure I understand what that
Because they're
means.
still going to get their full salary. It's just basically about attendance. You know, ghost employment's a big thing.
Oh, okay, I misread it. Okay, I got it now, yeah. So
And
there,
plus it also
if
will
they
help
took a
us-
partial day,
plus it'll
they'd be
also-
putting in for some type of leave.
Yes, yes. It
Okay.
also helped Lauren and I with PTO, people taking time off. Some people don't want to well, not that they don't want to, they kind of forget to turn in a PTO slip. And this will be like, well, we need your PTO slip. So
Yep,
it's just making things easier on us, and so in the end, we don't get in trouble from the State
yeah.
Board of
And
Accounts.
we have had some questions about our timekeeping come up, and they've just basically told us how to correct them with that.
Yes.
Before this has come about.
Yes.
So one thing that Laura and I talked about were if anybody forgot to clock, I mean, that happens, if you forget to clock in or out, then they would have to fill out the time clock request form, and then Lauren would be the only person who can change that. This will get turned into her, and then she'll do everything she needs to do, and she can change that, but we don't want just anybody being able to go in there and change times for anybody.
Yes, so like the employee, if they forget to clock in, or say they forget to clock out, then they would fill out one of these. Then the department head would, yes, that is exactly what happened. They would sign off, the department head would bring it to me, and then I would say it was corrected, or if I'm like, no, that's not really exactly what happened, and I would return it back to them and say why, and then they'd have to bring it back to me corrected, then I would correct it in time clock.
So what would happen if this becomes a regular issue with certain employees?
Well, that would be probably a discussion to the point where probably a write-up would have to happen. And if it continues, then maybe next steps.
By the department heads, or who
You mean-
who handles?
I would discuss it with.
Would
the
that come
department
through
head.
your office, or?
I would discuss it with the department head and see, and probably the employee, all three of us at the same time,
Uh-huh,
see what's going on.
okay. I didn't know, how that'd be handled, because, inevitably, these things
Yeah, yeah,
come up.
yeah.
Has that been a problem before with the department heads changing that?
Department heads right now were able to change times if they wanted to.
Change it now? But
Yeah,
you're
they
you're
can edit
moving
and
away
change
from
time.
that?
Yeah.
So you'll be the only one? And whose recommendation would you go on, the department heads?
They would have to fill out one of these, and the employee would have to fill it out, and then the department head would have to fill it out, and then I would have to go in and see what exactly is going on, to why they forgot to clock in, or if they forgot to clock out.
And they're signed, so they're
Yes.
saying that this is.
Yes, like the employee would sign it, the department head would have to sign it for approval, and then they bring it to me. Yes.
I'm going to write an ordinance and then include all of these documents in it, but our question is, how do we make sure that this is enforced? And what if somebody says, well, I'm still not going to clock in?
Especially the biometric part of it. That's,
If you're gonna
I mean, the
discharge,
state of Indiana really
whatever
doesn't have
you're-
any laws.
Right, but that's like that's really our main question for you, like, how can we, is there a certain language or something that we need to say, how can we enforce this, that people have to clock in?
If you don't.
With the biometric.
And they have to use their
biometric.
thumbprint, some people are saying, I'm not going to use my fingerprint.
If you don't use your thumbprint and you don't clock in, you're not getting paid, cut and dry.
Well, let's see what Kelly says.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, we have a provision like that for polygraph for discipline of police and fire. And if they refuse to do it, then there's consequences for doing that. I haven't had a chance to,
Okay,
I found it this morning, so I don't know when you
Okay,
sent it out to me, but I was
Okay.
going through my mails and found it.
I mean, I've not found any state laws that has anything about biometrics or anything.
No, most of it's going to be federal law under employment. That's where I have to call on Mark. I mean, he practiced law in that area up in Chicago for a law firm. But there's a lot of federal law on a lot of this stuff as to what you can do and can't do with their employment. And I'm guessing at this point, but that consistent with like the polygraph kinds of stuff. I mean, if that's how you want to do it and somebody refuses, I mean, I don't know if there could be religious grounds or something, I don't know what that would be, but I mean, there's a lot of those kind of things that come up when you start enforcing these things as to what are exceptions. And that's, I mean, the schools have got a whole bunch of that kind of stuff, and
So we definitely would like your feedback back on these, and then like with the ordinance as well, just to make sure that everything is in line and how it needs.
it's going to just be planted in the employee handbook, isn't it?
Yeah, because right now, when it comes to timekeeping in the handbook, it's very vague. There's not very much about it.
And that's
So now
what
we would
these are
specifically have one
supposed to
for
do.
hourly and salaried non-exempt. They'd be specific.
Okay. I mean, I assume that whatever we have in enforcement of somebody not complying with what
Okay.
they're told to do, or the way the time is kept and whatnot, has its own consequences. One, you don't get paid, and you gotta
Yeah.
prove it, or
Yeah.
if you keep doing
I mean,
it,
in the end, it's just, sometimes with salaried especially, it could be under ghost employment, There's so many departments, and I can't see everybody where they're at, when they need to be there, when they aren't there,
have we had ghost employment issues?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, in several departments, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one reason why we wanted to do these time clocks with the two-factor verification and everything too.
And they're all
prevent
working
anything
now,
like that.
with the new IT guy, Jeremy. He has checked them, all they are working. So,
Tonight to give you,
that's fine.
Right, we're just asking, if you definitely read this over, and then I'll work on the ordinance and send it before the next meeting, and to really look all of those over to make sure that we're
And even if the
covering all of our
policy,
bases.
and even if the policy you feel needs to be changed or tweaked or whatever, if you could let me know, too. Okay.
Other questions?
I got one other, and only because I'm an old guy that clocked in for 35 years. I was a little concerned about under hourly, because basically that pertains to parks, street department, because they're 40-hour hourly employees. Most of your outside people are correct, Jan? I said most of your,
40. I mean, in our handbook, you have to work 35 hours to receive benefits, so.
well, that's not my question. My question is, if you're an hourly employee and you're clocking in and out, and you start clocking, let's say you're working 40, they've worked 40-hour weeks, your maintenance guys and all of them. Now, if they start clocking in 15 minutes ahead of time on a regular basis,
It rounds. If you clock in early from.
the clock goes to the normal time?
Yes, to the.
Well, that was my-
At 6:45 and you're supposed to be there at 7, 6:45 will round to 7.
Okay, that's what I need to know, because
All of them will round up. But
When I work-
Let's say someone does need to come in at 6, they were called to come in at 6:45, that's when that change would happen.
they'd have to have that in
Yeah,
ahead of
that's
time.
why I was asked to come in.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I was only concerned because I know we, with the FLSA, you had we had a 5-minute window, and it ran from the time you were supposed to clock in till up to 5 minutes after. 5 minutes after 8, you didn't get paid for that first 5 minutes. But if and if you clocked in a couple minutes early, you clocked out at your regular time, you
You can
didn't.
have it to where even if they clock.
I was just concerned about somebody
There's a lot of
saying
things you can change.
after a month, hey, I worked an hour and 15 minutes extra for the whole month, you owe me.
Right.
So, but if the clock is rounding up, then that doesn't concern me, I guess. It takes care of itself.
It rounds.
I wonder how this is, in terms of the salaried employees, how this is going to affect overtime for them or compensation time for them. Like Kevin will work Saturday or Sunday on an emergency situation. And so that means he has to clock in and out. That means he's got, 7 or 8 extra hours. That means he's not there during the week when we need him to be there.
So what would happen
And
if?
so, and he's not, right now, we're not paying him overtime for that. But we're gonna have to if that happens. And so, and he's a salaried person, so is our administrative assistant who does.
I know, but that's not changing anything when it comes to salaried people. This is just basically for attendance purposes. It's not changing what you're getting paid.
It's just gonna show that he showed up on Saturday instead of Monday.
Yeah.
I know, but he doesn't have to sit, this is an emergency situation, let's say, on Saturday.
So, my thing is, what would happen any other time? Would you pay him overtime? I'm just asking.
No,
So why would we have to now?
and he doesn't take comp time either, but, he just tries to get the job done. That's the point. He's getting the job done, and however long it takes. And that's what a salaried person does. You do the work as long as however long it takes you to get the work done. And, that's the way I've always interpreted salary positions. So, it's gonna, when you start getting technical like this.
Well, I know,
it's
but
gonna
FL,
affect it.
right, I understand. But it's all about being exempt and non-exempt. Like Kevin can't do anything without your permission, right? Technically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, technically,
You
yeah,
know
but
what
he
I
doesn't
mean.
call me in.
Right. And he
o'clock
can't do
in the
anything
morning.
technically without going before the board, Parks Board, technically.
Well, it's just something I want,
It's just,
I'm concerned about that part of it, so.
It's just gonna show when the hours that he worked. It's no different than I don't understand how it's any different than what he's
it
doing
won't
now.
change anything, really. I don't see, you're not paying him overtime.
Does he clock in and clock it and have his own clock in, clock out now?
No, I just know when he's there.
Okay, so it's the same thing. It's just gonna have him clock in and clock out. It's going to be no different.
Okay.
Right?
Can we might want to check on that.
I bet on that.
I don't understand how it's different, I guess.
There's some sort of federal law that.
Well, that's just it. You and I have discussed the federal law.
See, now, he will be underneath that number.
Yeah,
See,
so is Kyle Smith. and
So then we
is-
should make them
So is John Clark, and so is
Yeah,
Kelly, and, yeah, they're all under that,
yeah.
so.
That's
gonna
when I
be
feel
an
like,
issue.
yeah, then that's when I've said to them, we should make them all hourly then, that way then it would be, but. Mm-hmm.
Hell with it, I'm not gonna come in for the extra 7 hours on Saturday if I'm gonna rack up the hours and have to be here on Monday through Friday and plus the time. And say that I would be getting a whole lot more money than what you're paying me by a salary. It would be,
Right.
what I bet will be.
But like I
coming
said,
up.
if Kevin's already coming in, I'm just using him as an example. If Kevin's already coming in on the weekend, then he can take time off during the week.
Yeah,
he's salary.
Probably doesn't want him taking
Right.
time off, it sounds like, so.
Right, so he's just putting in the extra hours on the weekend without getting paid.
Right. I know about your people, that
Well, I'm just
They're
thinking-
hourly.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about myself. I document all the times I've been called out since March 10th through like near the end of June. I got called out 26 or 28 times. Me doing that myself, I saved the city quite a bit of money. Calling somebody else.
And in time clock, you can put notes like called in for.
we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to, we decided to do them. It's been a process getting them installed. And then they get installed and then some people don't want to use them and it's like a revolving door. I mean, we have them, we decided we wanted them, they need to be in use.
We'll get it put together and we'll have Kelly look over it and go from there.
In favor
Sound
of
good?
that.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Kelly, you good with that?
Let me just tell you, to the extent we're getting involved in federal law, I mean, I don't have expertise on that. I mean, for stuff around here, it's always been, I'm an employee at will, and I quit, and you quit, and whenever we want to. And so as soon as we start putting times on it and mandates, and people losing their jobs if they don't, if they're 10 minutes late or whatever, where Jan used to say, hey, we'll catch you up, or you worked extra last time, it's just, hey, that's part of how we operate. Well, that's good as far as it goes, but that gets to be a problem, then you end up with a lot of detail, and you got a lot of picky fights, and that's probably what we're gonna have, would be
I
my
know.
guess.
I've already had the picky fights
Yeah.
already going on.
So it's, I don't know all those ins and outs that Dave has lived through, knowing the guys find loopholes or problems to.
Well, the one and I get what you're saying, Jan, because
Well, so do I.
I know there's people that work well beyond, like Chad mentioned himself there. But then we have people that at times weren't meeting the 35-hour minimum. And we're trying to figure out how in the world can we make this fair for everybody, is the dilemma that we're in. We just want people to come in and put their time in like they're supposed to be. And, and I can tell you this from all the years I worked, it only takes a few to stir the pot for everybody. And it makes life difficult for everyone else.
It only takes one person to mess it up with the State Board of Accounts,
Exactly.
then we got a headache, so.
And they're like, I want to see their time card, and we don't have one, really.
So, all
We don't
right.
have actual time in, we just have, some of them are fixed, where it's just a fixed time. Well, that's not an actual time in.
Fortunately, not everybody has the same work ethic.
So,
It's always the exception that causes the problem.
Right? Yep.
I say let's put it together like
And
you
take a look at it.
suggested. Send it to Kelly. If Kelly's
Yep.
not comfortable with putting it on the August 4th, if you want to let Mark look at it, if you feel more comfortable.
I do, know whether I can talk him into it.
All right, then we'll do it that way.
Got a couple things going right now.
So,
So, yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Any other questions? All right, it's 6:40, I'm closing the rules committee.
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Did you advertise anything else that has to do with rules? You were good. Can I bring up the golf cart ordinance, or lack of, or do we need to do it at another meeting?
Say we should probably do it at the next meeting. He's going to have a
gonna have a
meeting
meeting.
on August the 4th.
Prior to council, because I got American Legal Publishing coming in at 5:30 for us,
Did you add that to the agenda?
so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
$6:41, I'll close the meeting.